your body's weird. It twitches, burns, makes noises, leaks emotions, and we just let it. But what if those tiny, harmless things you ignore every day are actually your body quietly screaming, "Hey, I'm dying over here"? Don't panic. Or actually, do. Because today, we're diving into 5 harmless symptoms that might be secretly dangerous. Let's get pretty weird. Number 5, that random black line on your nail. You ever notice a dark stripe running down your nail and think, weird, probably hit it somewhere? Yeah, that's what everyone says right before the plot twist, because sometimes that innocent little line, it's not a bruise, it's cancer. Specifically, subungual melanoma, a type of skin cancer that doesn't bother showing up where the sun shines. Oh no, it sets up camp under your fingernail, quietly plotting chaos. Now, you might be thinking, wait, skin cancer? Under the nail? That's not even skin. Oh, but it is. Under your nail bed are pigment-producing cells called melanocytes. They're the ones that give color to your skin, your hair, your questionable spray tans. Most of the time, they're chill, but sometimes they go rogue, multiplying like it's Black Friday in the DNA aisle. At first, it's nothing dramatic, just a thin brown or black line that looks like you got a bit of dirt stuck under your nail. You ignore it. You assume it'll grow out, except it doesn't. It stays. Weeks pass, the line gets darker, maybe wider. Maybe it's starting to invade the skin right next to your nail. Your brain says, hey, still nothing. Probably iron deficiency or something. Spoiler, it's not iron deficiency. It's your body sending a memo titled urgent. We messed up in the melanin department. Here's the sneaky thing. It doesn't hurt. At all. That's why people ignore it. No pain, no problem, right? Until suddenly, it is a problem. Because by the time it does start to bother you, it's already spread beneath the nail bed and, in the worst cases, down to the bone. That's usually when the doctor says, we're going to have to take a little bit off the top. And by top, they mean your nail, sometimes even the tip of your finger. Not ideal. You might think, well, that sounds rare. And you'd be right. It is rare, but that's the problem. Because it's rare, people, and even some doctors, mistake it for a simple bruise or fungal infection. By the time it's recognized, it's already doing its villain monologue. So how can you tell the difference? If it's a real bruise, it moves as your nail grows. If it's melanoma, it stays in the same place, like a bad roommate who refuses to move out. Also, the color pattern is different. The base near your cuticle is usually darker, fading toward the tip. And if that pigment starts spreading to the skin around the nail, that's your flashing red light. Do not wait. Do not cover it with nail polish. Do not tell yourself it'll probably go away. Go see a dermatologist. Let them take a look. Worst case, they tell you it's nothing. Best case, you catch something early before it turns into a horror movie. So, moral of the story? Your nails aren't just there for decoration. Sometimes they're tiny billboards for your health, trying to tell you, hey, something's seriously wrong in here. And before you start spiraling, remember, not every dark line means cancer. But if that line isn't moving, not fading, or looks a little sus, maybe close the WebMD tab and book an actual appointment. Because between losing a nail and losing a finger, you definitely prefer the manicure bill. Number 4, feeling full after 2 bites? You ever sit down starving, ready to demolish your favorite meal? And 2 bites in, your stomach's like, we're good. No, you didn't suddenly become a disciplined eater. You just entered the early satiety zone. That's a fancy medical way of saying, your stomach's a drama queen. Normally, your stomach is this amazing, stretchy organ. Basically the yoga instructor of your body. It expands, bends, adjusts. You can dump half a pizza and 2 sodas in there and it's like, sure, plenty of room, come on in. But sometimes something goes wrong. Your stomach forgets how to chill. It becomes stiff, hypersensitive, or just confused. So instead of stretching to accommodate that delicious pasta, it's like, nope, this is too much emotional baggage. I'm full. Cue the confusion. You push your plate away, staring at your food like it personally betrayed you. Wait, am I full? I've had like 3 bites. Yeah, that's not mindfulness. That's malfunction. Doctors call it early satiety, and it happens when your stomach's nerves or muscles aren't communicating properly with your brain. So even when you've barely eaten, your stomach sends a fake full notification upstairs, like a badly coded app spamming alerts. Now sure, on paper that sounds awesome. You get to eat less and still feel satisfied? Dream diet. Except, not really. Because when your stomach decides to stop playing nice, you don't just eat less, you can't eat more. You start losing weight, not on purpose, and your energy drops faster than a bad crypto coin. Why? Because sometimes it's not just a quirk. Early satiety can point to several things: functional dyspepsia, a fancy term for your stomach's glitching, ulcers, a blockage in the stomach outlet, or even gastroparesis, when the stomach muscles get lazy and stop pushing food down properly. Basically, your digestive system's doing the bare minimum. It's the co-worker of organs. So, maybe I should just eat smaller meals? Good idea, but not forever. If this keeps happening for weeks, and you're also losing weight or feeling bloated and nauseous all the time, it's time to trade the salad bar for a doctor's appointment. Because this isn't about portion control anymore, it's about figuring out why your body thinks a cracker is a full-course meal. Here's a fun fact. Sometimes early satiety comes with a weird pressure feeling in your upper belly, like your stomach's saying, "Hey, I'm gonna expand now." Just kidding, panic attack. That's your cue something's off with the stomach's ability to relax and stretch. So what can you do? Step 1, stop ignoring it. Step 2, get a checkup. Because yeah, maybe it's stress, maybe it's acid reflux, or maybe your stomach just decided to unionize. So, you're saying if I can't finish a burrito, I might be dying? No, calm down, you're probably not dying. But if it's been happening for weeks and you're dropping pounds faster than your will to live on a Monday, then yeah, maybe time to ask someone with a medical degree. In short, feeling full after 2 bites isn't enlightenment. It's not your body learning to listen to hunger cues. It's your digestive system screaming, "Something's broken, please fix me." So don't just stop at 2 bites. Go for the full checkup. Number 3, craving salt like it's candy. You ever find yourself dumping salt on everything? Like fries? Sure. Eggs? Obviously. Your ice cream? Oh, okay, that's concerning. But here's the thing. When you start craving salt like it's candy, it's not just a weird food phase. It might be your body's way of screaming, "Hey, something's up with your adrenal glands." Yeah, I know. You didn't expect to talk about adrenal glands today, but here we are. So these 2 little triangle-shaped things that sit on top of your kidneys, they're basically the unsung heroes of hormone production. They control your stress hormones, your blood pressure, and even how your body handles salt. They're like 2 tiny managers working overtime to keep the whole system running. But sometimes, those managers go on strike, and when they do, your body starts leaking sodium through your pee faster than a broken faucet. Now, normally, a hormone called aldosterone would fix that. It's the boss that tells your kidneys, "Hey, hold on to that sodium. We need it to keep blood pressure normal." But when your adrenal glands aren't doing their job, aldosterone production drops. Result? You start losing sodium like crazy. Okay, so I'm salty because I'm literally low on salt? Exactly. Your brain notices the sodium drop, panics, and starts chanting, "More salt, more salt, more salt." So you reach for chips, pretzels, ramen seasoning packets, whatever it takes. And suddenly, you're standing in the kitchen at midnight, licking the salt off a cracker like a dehydrated deer. This, my friend, might be a sign of Addison's disease, a condition where your adrenal glands are underperforming. And when that happens, the consequences go way beyond, "I really like Doritos." We're talking constant fatigue, low blood pressure, feeling dizzy every time you stand up, like the floor just teleported. And in extreme cases, your body can go into adrenal crisis, where your blood pressure tanks and you basically turn into a fainting goat. So craving salt means I'm dying? Calm down, sodium soldier. Probably not. There are plenty of reasons you might crave salt. Dehydration, sweating too much, low blood sugar, or just loving flavor. But when it's constant, like you'd happily drink soy sauce as a beverage, that's when you should consider getting your hormone levels checked. Here's how you can tell the difference. Normal craving, you want salty snacks sometimes? Adrenal problem, You'd trade your paycheck for a salt lick and still feel tired. And just to add insult to injury, your body might also start losing potassium, so you get muscle weakness and cramps. Because why have one problem when you can have a whole collection? So, how do I fix it? More salt? Tempting, but no, you don't fix the leak by pouring more water in the bucket. You fix the bucket. In other words, see a doctor, get a blood test. Let them figure out whether your adrenals are taking a vacation without notice. Because sure, craving salt might sound harmless, but if your body's begging for sodium like a junkie, it's probably not trying to spice up your diet. It's trying to stay alive. Number 2, the sudden brain fog. You ever have one of those moments where your brain just turns into oatmeal? Like, you walk into a room and instantly forget why you're there. You stare at your phone for 5 minutes trying to remember what app you opened, and someone's talking to you, in English, presumably, but all you hear is static. Yeah, that's brain fog. And sure, we all get a bit foggy sometimes. Maybe you didn't sleep, maybe you've been doom scrolling for 4 hours. But when that fog shows up suddenly and won't go away, it might not just be stress. It might be your brain waving a tiny white flag. Here's the deal. Your brain runs on oxygen, sugar, and pure vibes. Cut off any of those for too long, and it starts buffering like a bad live stream. This sudden, heavy confusion can actually be a symptom of something called delirium, which sounds like a death metal band, but is actually a real medical emergency. Wait, delirium? Isn't that just being tired? Oh no. Tired is when you forget your keys. Delirium is when you forget what keys are. When your brain suddenly starts misfiring, you can't focus, can't think straight, can't remember basic stuff. That's not normal. It's not burnout. It's your central processor throwing an error message. And here's the scary part. Delirium isn't always caused by head trauma or obvious illness. Sometimes it's triggered by infections, even mild ones, before you ever spike a fever. Your body might be fighting something nasty, and your brain is the first part to say, hey, something's wrong down here. It can also happen from dehydration, certain medications, a blood sugar crash, or in older adults, even a urinary tract infection. Yeah, you heard that right. Sometimes your grandma's acting confused, not because she's old, but because she needs antibiotics. So, brain fog means I'm sick? Not always. But if it hits you like a train, suddenly, hard, and you can't shake it off, it's time to take it seriously. Especially if it comes with dizziness, headache, or you're seeing things that aren't there. That's your brain literally begging for troubleshooting. But I thought brain fog was just from, like, caffeine withdrawal. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. That's the fun part. Your brain doesn't send clear emails, it just panics. Picture this. Your neurons are at their desks trying to work. Then someone cuts the Wi-Fi. Now they're all staring at each other like, did you get the memo? No? Cool, me neither. That's delirium. It's like a mini power outage in your brain's command center. And while it might pass in a few hours, it can also be the first sign of something much bigger, like an infection, a stroke, or even a metabolic imbalance. So if your mind suddenly feels like it's filled with cotton candy and confusion, and no amount of sleep or caffeine fixes it, don't just laugh it off. Because yeah, maybe you're just tired, or maybe your brain's trying to tell you it's literally short-circuiting. So what do I do? Simple. Get checked, hydrate, sleep, and if it doesn't clear up, go see a doctor. Because as much as we love pretending we can push through the brain fog, it's not a vibe, it's a warning. Your brain's not being lazy, it's asking for help. And trust me, ignoring a confused brain never ends well. It's like ignoring a smoke alarm because it's probably fine. Number 1, red, burning ears. So your ears suddenly feel hot, like really hot. They turn bright red, start burning, maybe even throbbing, and you're like, oh, maybe I'm just embarrassed. Sure, that's one option. Or, plot twist, your ears might be staging their own house fire, because this, my friend, might be something called red ear syndrome. Yes, it's a real thing. And no, it's not just because you were gossiping too hard. Wait, red ear syndrome? That sounds like something from Urban Dictionary. I wish. It's actually one of the rarest neurological oddities known to science. Like, less than 200 documented cases worldwide rare. You're more likely to get struck by lightning while reading the script out loud than develop it. But still, it happens. So, what is it? It's when one or both of your ears suddenly flush bright red and feel hot or burning for no obvious reason. The flare-up might last seconds or hours and can happen randomly, when you're resting, talking, eating, or doing absolutely nothing. Basically, your ear goes, "Hey, you know what this conversation needs? Fire." And here's the wild part. It usually affects just one ear, most often the left, for reasons science has yet to explain. So if you're left-eared and unlucky, congrats, I guess. So, my ears are on fire. Am I dying? Probably not. Red ear syndrome isn't fatal. It's just extremely uncomfortable and confusing. But it can be a clue that something else is wrong, deeper in your nervous system. Some researchers think it's related to the trigeminal nerve. That's the one responsible for facial sensations. Others think it's due to weird blood vessel behavior around your ear, like the vessels randomly dilating and flooding your ear with blood. Or it can show up with migraine headaches or even neck nerve irritation. Basically, your body's communication network has a glitch. And that glitch says, hey, let's send all the blood to the left ear right now, for absolutely no reason. So it's like my ears rage quitting? Exactly. It's the rage quit of the human nervous system. The bad news? There's no cure. The good news? It's harmless. Mostly. But sometimes, red ear syndrome doesn't travel alone. It can show up alongside other nerve conditions like migraines, cluster headaches, or even certain spinal problems. So if you get that burning ear sensation plus pain, dizziness, or visual auras, don't just slap on an ice pack and hope for the best. That's your cue to see a neurologist. Okay, but why is it always the ear? Why not like a red knee? Good question. Nobody knows. Some theories say the nerves that control your face and neck are so close together, they sometimes send cross signals. So your brain goes, headache incoming, and your ear mishears it as burn like the surface of the sun. Here's the thing though, even though it's rare and usually benign, if your ears are getting red regularly and it hurts or lasts a long time, you should still check it out. Because in medicine, weird but harmless and weird and important often start the same way. So yeah, next time your ears go full tomato for no reason, don't panic, but also don't ignore it. Your body's internal alarm system has a funny way of communicating. Sometimes it screams in pain, sometimes it whispers, and sometimes it just sets your ears on fire to get your attention. So yeah, your body's not random, it talks, it just speaks fluent weird. Pay attention or it might start yelling louder. If you like learning strange, slightly terrifying things about being human, you're in the right place. Hit subscribe, drop a like, and stick around because things are about to get pretty weird.